If you're not as confident as you want to be, there's a good chance you have one of these 5 mental barriers that are keeping you from the life you want to live. These are beliefs that are stuck in your head and stopping you from doing things that you can do, from going up and talking to the girl, to meeting friends, to making that joke in front of the crowd. And I know because I overcame them and went from being unsure and shy about myself to being confident enough to consistently talk in front of hundreds of people. So in this video, I'm going to break down the barriers you have and give you 5 different mindsets to replace that type of thinking so you can live the life that you want to live. And by the way, if you have a specific topic that you want me to cover in the next video, leave a comment down below. Now, the first mental block holding you back is a survival mindset. As humans, we are programmed to try for survival. And what that usually means is not standing out, not taking risks. Now, in the past, when we were on the plains of Africa, that worked well because making a risk genuinely meant your life would end. But now, in the current day, in social settings, making a risk isn't that serious, right? Making a risk means you maybe get embarrassed for a few minutes. Let's say you have a joke that you want to say in front of the friend group. Yep, the social risk is relatively high because you could say the joke on the one hand and it could bomb, right? People might not laugh at it. That embarrassment is going to last, what, 5 minutes? Maybe the rest of the night. It's not going to be that serious. But let's look at the flip side. Let's say you take that risk and make the joke, and then you have everybody dying laughing, and they remember you and that joke as the life of the party. Maybe that's the reason why somebody from the crowd comes up and talks to you. Maybe that's the reason why the girl wants to hear and listen to you a little bit longer. I hope you see what I'm saying, in that in social settings, the potential downside is so tiny in comparison to the potential upside. Even if you take risks and you fail and fail and fail, they're not going to impact you as much as your brain is trying to make you think they do. But on the flip side, if you succeed, it can lead to a moment of you connecting with somebody, a moment of you making a new friend, of you being the life of the party. And those are the moments that stick and make your life a lot better. Because the key to being confident and likable and leading a life that you want to live is to let go of all the what ifs. What if this goes poorly? What if I mess up? What if I embarrass myself? And instead of being scared of those risks, taking those odds and seeing that as an opportunity to stand out, as an opportunity to make friends, as an opportunity to be more confident and lead the life you want to live. And that is the first mindset flip that I want you to adopt, is that risks aren't that risky. Now, the second mindset that I think is holding you back might be a bit controversial, and that is expecting good things to happen to you without you working for it. Now, I'm not saying that you don't deserve good things to happen to you. Everybody deserves good things to happen to them. In an ideal world, you wouldn't have to do anything and you would just get a good life. However, we don't live in a perfect world, and this world rewards people who take the first step. If you want something, if you want to make friends with somebody, if you want to meet that girl, if you want to be more social, if you want to develop your speaking skills, you need to take actions towards that goal. And I'll give you a little example of a story that made this really crystal clear to me. Back when I was single, I would see all these opportunities, these potential girls who I would be interested in talking to. I'll be in the grocery and see a cute girl, or, you know, I might be in the library or at the cafe or whatever. And in my head, I kept thinking like, oh my gosh, it would be so good if there was an opportunity, if they, you know, I don't know, dropped their pen in front of me and I was able to pick it up, or if they came over. But the naive thing about that is I was expecting good things to happen to me. I was expecting that opportunity to come without me making it. And then eventually I started to say, you know what? Maybe it's not the perfect moment to talk to this person. Maybe it would be a little awkward or weird, but I'm going to make that chance for myself. And 9 times out of 10, in fact, 10 times out of 10, what that led to is me feeling more confident, feeling like I'm really grabbing like life by the, it sounds weird, but grabbing life by the balls and just living the way that I want to live. Instead of expecting good things to happen, be the person who makes those opportunities happen in your own life. That is the second mindset that I want you to replace in your head. Now, the third mindset might make you rethink your life a lot, and that is assuming that people don't like you. Now, in your life, and not just your life, in everybody's life, there are going to be people who don't like you, right? Nobody is liked by everybody, from the biggest A-list celebrity to the politician who got millions and millions of votes, there's always going to be somebody who dislikes you. Now, that is just a fact of life, but the big mistake that a ton of people make is thinking that more people dislike them than they actually do. We tend to try to read into all these tiny things, these like micro expressions on the person's face, or them making a slight comment or doing something tiny, and we instantly jump a bunch of conclusions and assume, oh, that person doesn't like us. And then guess what happens? Because we think they don't like us, we don't like them, and we get a little bit more cold towards them, which might actually lead the person to not like us. So that is something that I want you to banish in your mind, right? This tendency towards negativity, towards, oh, this person like made a frown on their face, it must be because they don't like me, or this person didn't sit next to me, it must be because I look ugly or whatever. It's probably not that. There's probably like millions of things on this person's mind or that cause them to act in that way that are completely unrelated to not liking you. And the main mindset shift you want to have for this mental block, and it's one that's helped me a ton personally, is instead of assuming the negative, assume the positive, right? Any little thing you see from the person, instead you want to assume that it's a sign they like you. If you see the person frown, for instance, and this is going to sound a little silly, maybe it is that they are, upset that they like you so much that they can't hide it, all right? And they're trying to rein themselves in. If you are talking to them and they're very silent, instead of thinking, oh, this person is bored, think, oh, they're silent because they're really captivated by what I'm saying. Unless you get a really clear and obvious sign that the person doesn't like you, like if they say something directly to you that says that much, or they say something rude to you or leave the conversation, only in those situations, then you can assume that. But anytime else, assume the positive, and it's going to propel you so much further. Now, the fourth mental block is something you probably don't even realize you have, and that is being too self-absorbed. And what I mean by that is you probably have a ton of anxiety when you go into social settings. You're thinking people are going to be noticing you and judge you and think all these things about you. And if I make a mess up, it's going to be so embarrassing because they're going to see you and make fun of you and remember that for a long period of time. If you have those thoughts, you are being too self-absorbed. You think that people care and will remember about your life way more than they actually would. Because in reality, if you make some sort of social mistake, yeah, people might laugh and they might remember it for 5 minutes, for 10 minutes, for half a day, but realistically, they're gonna forget. And more importantly, most of the time they don't even notice. And that's the crazy thing, because just like you, they are in their head thinking about themselves. Whether it is they're thinking about themselves in the moment and how anxious they are and how they don't want other people to judge them, or they might be thinking about something completely unrelated. The food they ate for breakfast, the friend they're going to see in 2 hours, right? People are in their own bubble and their own head way more than you think. And they probably aren't noticing or caring if you make a social mistake. So I want you to think about that, and that's the mindset I want you to have in your head. People are caught up with their own lives. And on top of that, they're probably just as nervous of being a social fool, if you want to call it, as you are. They're probably just as anxious as you. And when you understand that, that is a massive, massive unlock for your confidence, because it makes you realize all those eyes that you thought you had on you, all those people you thought were judging you, they don't exist. They're not actually there. They're not actually looking. So you can be free to do whatever you want, to be goofy, to make jokes, to have fun without that pressure. And the fifth mindset is one that I personally had a lot, which is focusing too much on your flaws. I feel like a lot of the time we go through the world and we look at all these people and we're like, oh my gosh, they have such a perfect life, or they have it all together and I don't. The thing is, most of those people probably are feeling very similar to you. They're feeling not as confident or not as put together or as complete as a human as they want to be. You are rating yourself on a very unfair scale. You are seeing these people for like at most 1 or 2 hours a day, but you're with yourself for 100% of the time. And that means you see all your good bits, but you also see all your bad bits. And because as humans, we just naturally focus on the negative more, it is really easy to see our flaws and be like, oh, I'm not that confident, or I'm not a funny person, or I'm just so awkward, oh my gosh, and just delve and delve deeper and just put yourself in this hole of feeling like you can't be the type of person you want to be. But the reality is focusing on your flaws like that becomes this never-ending cycle of you continuing to be that type of person or continuing to have those flaws. A really simple example of this is if you continually tell yourself that you're bad at math. So what that's going to lead you to do is when there's an opportunity to do math, you're probably not going to try to do it in your head. You're probably going to pull out your calculator because I'm bad at math. And then what that means is you never exercise the skill of doing mathematics, which means you get worse at math. So then the next time you try to figure out a problem in your head, you're going to be even worse. Then you're going to tell yourself, I'm just bad at math. And then the cycle just begins again. When we focus on our flaws and tell ourselves it again and again, those flaws become beliefs. And then those beliefs shape our actions and then mold us into that type of person who has those flaws. So the massive mindset shift here is instead of focusing on your flaws, instead of focusing on your low points, focus on your high points. Focus on the moments you've seen yourself excel. So next time you have a joke to say, instead of thinking, oh, I'm so bad, I'm not funny, think of the times where you made somebody laugh, where you had people dying laughing. And that is going to give you the confidence to then say that joke, and you might just make the people laugh. And then again, it's going to make you feel more confident. Sometimes you're not going to be good at something, and that is completely fine. But the thing is, you don't want it to become something that you hone in on and focus on and like, oh, I was so bad at that thing. Instead, you want to just look at it like, oh yeah, I wasn't that good at that thing, but it's something I want to learn to get better at. And that's why I need to do it more. So mindset number 5 is don't focus on your flaws, focus on your wins. So those are some mindsets that have personally helped me become a ton more confident. But confidence also comes with how you hold yourself, how you appear in any room that you walk into. So I actually have a video right here that you can learn about some simple and easy tips that you can use to appear more confident and use your body to do so. Remember, if you have a topic or question that you want me to talk about in the next video, leave a comment down below. But either way, I hope you have an amazing day. My name is Isaiah, and above all else, I hope you keep connecting. Take care and good luck.